the former unified champ. Real quick, J-Rock, if you would, just give members of the media an update on how camp is going and what should they expect when J-Rock makes his return to the ring on June 26th.
Camp is going really good. You know, I've been out here for a few weeks now, just working and grinding and putting in work. And you guys can expect an explosive performance and expect me to win on June 26th.
And of course, J-Rock has been training in Vegas. He'll be facing, though, Brian Mendoza, 19-1. 13 of his victories have come by knockouts. And Brian, if you would, let members of the media know how your training camp has been going and what should they expect when you get into the ring with J-Rock.
Absolutely. Training camp has been going great, you know, out here in Vegas too. Just been grinding, man. It's a very big opportunity and I plan to take full advantage of it. So you guys can expect 100%, man, everything I got in me.
All right, J-Rock, let me start with you before we get to questions from members of the media. Like yourself, hey, listen, we just had another former unified champion, Jarrett Hurd, on Showtime. He was coming off longest, basically layoff of his career. Like yourself, new trainer, found himself in a dogfight with Luis Arias and an opponent he thought he should have beaten, but he ends up losing a split decision. How do you prevent that from happening to you?
I just got to be myself, you know. I think one fight has absolutely nothing to do with the other. You know, Luis Arias and Jarrett Hurd has nothing to do with Julian Williams and Brian Mendoza. I think none of the other three fighters are as skilled as I am. And I'm planning on showing that on June 26th. One fight has nothing to do with the other.
Brian, I was reading about this fight, and threekingsboxing.com had an interview with you, and in it you said, quote, "I am no food for anyone. I will show J-Rock what I'm about." Tell us what you meant by that. I think Brian froze on us.
He froze up.
Yeah, I think Brian froze on us. Until we get Brian back, let me go back to you, J-Rock. You know, one of the things I thought was interesting was when we had a discussion on my podcast, and I asked you about that the last time we saw you fight. You said, "Listen, maybe I let my guard down, didn't respect the sport." How do we know that won't happen again when you're back in the ring?
I mean, I didn't necessarily let my guard down. I knew who I was fighting. I knew Rosario was a good fighter. I think some unfortunate things happened during camp, and you know, my decisions that I made is what I meant by me not respecting the sport. From the decisions I made during camp, it didn't have nothing to do with me, you know, not focusing or not training hard. That was never the case. So I don't. I mean, I can't. I had a good camp, and I'm prepared to fight. I'm prepared to win.
How different of a fighter is J-Rock now that you've got this new trainer, Sugar Hill, one of the great trainers in boxing? You were with Stephen Everett for a long time. How different of a fighter will we see when you're back in the ring?
I'm not sure. You know, I mean, you guys are always going to see a hungry, focused fighter when I step in the ring, no matter what the outcome is. I'm not sure how much different I'll look. You know, I think when fighters get with new coaches, sometimes it takes time for the change to start to set in. You know, so we'll see.
It begs the question too: is Julian J-Rock Williams still one of the top 5 fighters? Because this division is loaded at 154. Is he still the elite, one of the top 5 fighters at 154 pounds?
I'm the best fighter in the division. I told you that last week. The last time we talked, just the best fighter just lost. That's all. LeBron had bad nights, you know. Jordan lost. Michael Jordan had bad nights. Julian Williams could have a bad night too. I'm still the best fighter in the division.
How anxious are you to get back in the ring?
Very anxious.
I love it. Focused. Greg, I know there are a number of members of the media who probably have questions for J-Rock. So let's bring in Greg Domino, of course, from our communications department of Showtime. Greg, tell the members of the media, all you have to do, raise your hand bar there in the Zoom, and he will get to you. Tell us who you're with and ask your question.
Thank you very much, Brian. First question comes from Keith Idek of Boxing Scene. Corey, I need access to be able to allow them to talk. I don't have that. Bear with us.
While he gets that.
I'm in the room. Keith isn't here. Is he under a different name on the account?
Oh, there's Keith.
No aliases for me. Hey, Julian, how you doing, man?
I'm pretty good.
Thanks, man. Can you tell us how long you've been in Vegas? You've been there for a decent amount of time now, right? And how it's gone with a new training environment for yourself.
It's going really good, actually. Only thing I don't like is this heat, man. It's too dry. But the training has been going really good. I've been here for about 5 weeks going on.
Did you feel like you needed, I guess in some sense you did, right? That you just needed maybe a new place to train, a new environment, just to try to change things up for yourself?
No, not really. Not a new environment. It's just that Sugar Hill was holding camp out here with Tyson Fury. So I met him out here and decided to work out here. I don't care where I train, as long as there's this gym and some heavy bags, I can get the job done.
Okay. Can you just tell us specifically how it's gone with Sugar Hill since you guys have been together? Maybe not giving away your game plan or anything, of course, but maybe some of the things that you feel you've worked on and improved on.
I don't really want to get into what I worked on and improved on, but it's been going really smooth actually, and we kind of like clicked from the beginning. And I like his training. I like his training style. So I think it's going good.
Did you know him much before you got together with him? Or did you know, like personally, did you know him much or no?
No. I met him a few times in passing, but that was about it.
How did you guys come together?
Mutual friend. I reached out to, see if he was interested, and he was. We had a conversation. And then I went out to Detroit to sit down and talk. We trained for a few days, and that was that.
Okay. You mentioned before that you made some mistakes, not necessarily not training hard or anything. Can you elaborate on some of the things maybe that went wrong for you in that camp that you mentioned earlier? You alluded to.
I'd rather not, man. It was 17 months ago, man. It's history now. Anything now sounds like an excuse. So I'd rather not, talk about it. I'm just focused on, Brian Mendoza. I don't want to go back and, talk about things that happened in the past.
I know that you couldn't do anything about it because the world changed dramatically for everyone.
Yeah.
Did it make it that much more difficult for you that you had to wait so long to get back into the ring because of the pandemic?
It did. You know what made it more difficult was I had a fight schedule. I probably would have been the only top fighter in the world to fight 2 times the COVID year. And when I got back in camp, I was actually out here in Vegas again, and I caught Corona, and my fight got scrapped. So it's been a difficult 17 months for me, but I just kept persevering through and kept working hard, and I'm looking to put on a great performance.
You were supposed to fight in December originally, right?
December 26th.
Yeah. Well, how did you react to COVID? How did you feel? I mean, did you have bad symptoms, or how did you deal with it?
It wasn't bad at first. I didn't I'm thinking this is BS. And then once I got back home, I started feeling some symptoms, and but they subsided within the first couple. I say about a week and a half. I was pretty good.
How long did it keep you out of the gym?
Maybe about 2 weeks. But around that time, the gyms were closed anyway.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So.
Hey, excuse me, guys. I just popped back in, man. My phone overheated.
Thanks a lot.
Welcome back.
Thank you, Keith. Next question will be from Jeremy Harrigis of Fansided.
Hi, Julian. Hi, Brian. First question's for Julian. You talked about training. You were supposed to have a fight in November. Do you feel that even though you didn't have that fight, the anticipation for it and the work that you put in has kept you primed and ready for this moment.
Absolutely, because I went through a whole 4-week camp. I never really stopped training, and then when I got to Vegas in November, I was already in shape, and I basically went through like a half a camp. My weight was really good. I was probably about 12 pounds overweight once my fight got canceled. So it was almost like a full camp, but it just kept me, something that kept me motivated, kept my mouth watering.
I know that sometimes when fighters go in and out of training camps and they have extended periods of time, they can feel overtrained. Is there any fear that you're overtrained at this point?
No, not at all. Not at all. I've been pro for 10 years. I know when to kind of like, turn it down and pick it up and, keep my weight in check and not make sure I don't peak too soon. And I pretty much know what I'm doing.
Question for Brian, if Brian's on there.
Yeah.
Brian, I know that looking at your record, it's a strong record. There's one blemish on there, which came in 2019 against Larry Gomez, but it was a split decision. Looking back at that fight, is that something that, you felt that you won? And do you feel like that, that blemish really shouldn't exist?
Yeah, but it's not about looking back and crying about, what happened in the past. There's always a million excuses behind the scenes, but it is what it is. And I learned from it. You guys saw the change in performances, even from that fight to finally, being more comfortable and everything at 154 in the next one. And I feel like, this fight's even more again. So it's the type of fight that'll pull out even more for me. And you guys will see another big jump in skill wise and everything.
Thank you, gentlemen, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. We have one last question from Jim Conlon.
Hi, Julian. Hi, Brian. Brian, my question here is for Julian. Julian, in terms of going forward, in terms of the big fights, in terms of your career, you mentioned that the bad night in the office in terms of slip-ups. Can you afford any slip-ups now going forward if Julian Williams wants to achieve what he wants to achieve? Is the slip-ups out of the order going forward anymore?
Well, I think no fighter can afford slip-ups. In the era of boxing we're in, losses are frowned upon. So it's not just me. No fighter can afford a slip-up. So every fight is kind of like, do or die for me. It's always been like that, though, so it's nothing new for me.
And lastly, just for Brian there, Brian, do you feel you have everything to gain in this fight and nothing to lose?
Absolutely. It's I keep telling people on fight night, you're not going to see someone that's just, happy, like one of those guys like, oh, I, got to get to this point. I have big goals and everything. And I feel like this is, like I keep saying, that perfect fight. So you're going to see me come with everything and coming for a victory. You're not just seeing someone that's happy to be there. So absolutely everything to gain.
Best luck to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Back to you, Brian.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. And I know, Julian, you've got an engagement and you have to run. Brian,
Yeah, I gotta go to the gym.
Absolutely. Brian, my question for you, since J-Rock is here, he's coming off the longest layoff of his career, got a new trainer for this fight. Do you think you're catching Julian Williams at the right time?
Yes, but not because of that. It's more about me. I'm worried about me. I believe this is the right time. I'm 27 years old. I've been a pro, for years and years now. I just feel like now the schooling that I've had with Ismael Salas is finally really coming out, just hitting that next level. Even, the sparring's been different, the training and everything. And that's why, I'm not worried about, what's going on there because he has all this stuff, but I know he's still coming with everything, to prove he's still got it, that he's still in the mix and everything. So I'm not really looking at his negatives. I'm looking at my positives.
And lastly, on threekingsboxing.com, you had an interview with him. You said, quote, "I'm no food for anyone. I'm coming for Julian Williams." Tell us what you meant by that.
Exactly what I said a minute ago. A lot of people get to this point, they get a big fight like this and they're like, wow, I made it. They get happy just to be there. But you're not going to see that at all. And what I mean by that is I have big goals, man. I've always visualized, being at the top of the sport, climbing to the very top, not just, oh, happy, I got this kind of opportunity. That's why, I'm taking full advantage, and you're going to see someone very, very hungry in there that night.
And J-Rock, we'll let you go with this. You now know who Brian Mendoza is. What do you think of him as a fighter? What should we expect when you get in the ring with him on the 26th?
Expect him to get beat. I've been to who Brian Mendoza was. He's a decent fighter, but he's gonna lose.
I tell you what, this is the kind of fight you want to stay in tune and in touch and watch. Brian Mendoza, he's only lost once. Julian J. Rock Williams, the former unified champ. They will be on this fight card. Best of luck to both of you, gentlemen. J. Rock, thank you.
Thank you.
Brian, thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Thank you.